Hey love, so welcome to my channel. My name is Akia and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a scrap yarn beanie. You can either make this scrap yarn beanie with actual scrap yarn. You would just tie the same colors together, and I just do a regular knot, and then I do a double knot, and that way you can save on yarn if you have a lot of small scrap yarn pieces. So you can do it like that, or you can just use balls of yarn. Okay. So in this tutorial I am going to be using balls of yarn or skeins of yarn. So first you want to take two colors, and then you want to make a slip knot. I'm using a 5mm hook for this entire hat, and this is worsted weight yarn, medium 4, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so you make a slip knot, and then you would just chain 41. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Okay, so I made a chain of 41, and then I am going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So, and we're going to make 7 single crochets from the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7. And I usually put a stitch marker there as well, just so that I don't have to always count. And I do this, the single crochets at the top, because I want it to be a little less bulky at the top. Okay, so in the remaining 33 stitches we are going to do half double crochet. So 1, 2, the last stitch of the first row, so it's just a half double crochet. Then you are going to chain 1 and then turn your work. So now for the remainder of this tutorial, we are going to crochet in the back loops only. So we're going to make half double crochet in the first 33 stitches in the back loop only. I'm going to finish till I get to the single crochet, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm at the single crochets, and in the single crochet we are also going to crochet in the back loop only. So single crochet in the back loop only for the next 7 stitches. And at the beginning and the end of every row we are going to chain just 1. Okay, so I did 2 rows. I am going to, because I want it to stop about right here, I'm gonna do the 7 single crochets and then back loop only, and then do half double crochets into hair. And when I'm finished, I will get back to you guys and show you what to do next. Okay, so once you get to where you want to stop, you would pick a color that you would want to that you don't want, that you want to change out. So my next color is going to be dark blue. So, and I want the dark blue to be with the black. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut the white off. And then tie the dark blue to the white. I typically just do a regular double knot. And then I just continue to crochet as normal, back loops only. And I'm going to do this for about 2 to 3 rows. When I'm finished with the 2 to 3 rows, I'll be back with you guys. Okay, so I finished this, I did 3 rows, well 2.5 rows of the blue and black. So I'm basically finished with my 5th row, but I want to change colors. So I am going to cut, since I already did 2 rows with black, I'm going to cut the black. And now I'm going to tie the black and the yellow together. And then continue to crochet as normal. Okay, so for this pattern I do a total of 45 rows. I do a total of 45 rows, okay? So this is the 6th row. And basically, after I'm done with these 2 colors, I will cut off the blue. And then I will do like maybe red with the yellow. And a tip, because you want them to be like the yarn tails to be at random places. So for this one, I'm gonna do 1 row, 2 rows, and since I have one down here, I am going to end it on the 3rd row up at the top. Okay, and then you will continue to do that for 45 rows. So the next one I'll do red and yellow, and then I'll cut the yellow off. And tie pink to the yellow, so it'll be pink and yellow for the next 3 rows. Okay, so I will show you guys what this looks like when I'm all finished and ready to sew. Okay, so after you're done with all your rows, you'll have like a long panel like this. This one I already cut and combed out the pieces, so you would actually have, your pieces will actually look like this, right? The yarn tails. What I do is I just cut them a little bit, like, because it's kind of too big, and then to get it to be like fuzzy, I just comb it out, and I am using an edge brush to comb it out. just comb it out. You don't have to if you don't want to have them like this, but I like that, I like it with the fuzzies. So and if you don't want the fuzzies, you can just weave in the ends, which will take a long time. But you can do that as well, or you can just pull them all to the inside of the hat, and then just have the outside of the hat look like this. Okay, so make sure when you're done you leave a long tail. So now we are going to sew it together. You can either sew it, I typically sew mine, or you can just crochet it, but I like the way it looks when I sew it. So I flip it inside out, and see right here I used scrap yarn. That's why it has all these yarn tails, so I'm gonna end up weaving those in. Okay, but let's get to sewing. Just use a tapestry needle to sew, and like I said, I flip it inside out. Then I combine the both edges, and I put the needle in both sides. I'm gonna do it this way. So I put the needle in both sides, and then I just insert the needle in both sides, catching all of the yarns. I'm gonna finish sewing on the inside. It will look like this, or the outside. It will be the outside. I'm gonna finish sewing this, and I will get back to you guys to show you how to sew the top. Okay, so we sewed it all the way up to the top, and this is what the inside will look like. And this is what the outside will look like. Okay, so once we get to the top, we are just going to sew it in a zigzag motion. So insert your hook through this way, and then insert it from the opposite side. So just like a zigzag. It's hard to explain, but if you're watching, you can tell what I'm doing. And it's just like how you would any other beanie. And you would just pull it. And you just continue to do this until you get back to the beginning, and I'll show you what to do after I'm finished. Okay, so I am back at the beginning where I started, and I am just going to pull tightly, but don't pull too tight, because if you pull too tight, then your yarn could snap. Had that happen to me. So I pull tight, and then I go into the opposite side like this, and I catch this side as well, and this is to close up the top, and I just pull tightly. So then I go in on this side and the opposite side. I just grab a little bit of the yarn and then I pull tightly. Then I grab this side and insert it to the other side, and I just keep doing that until I'm comfortable with the closure. So there will be no holes in the top, but make sure you're pulling it tight as well. So I'm just gonna do one more. And then just want to make sure in the top there's no holes. Cool. So then you just make sure it's tight like that. And we are going to just make a knot. Then we're going to double knot it. I'm just inserting it at the top and then just making a knot. Then we're just going to weave this end in. Weave it in. And before I cut it, I am going to check the inside just to make sure, which will be actually the outside, before I cut this. And I just want to make sure that it's closed all the way with no holes in the top. Okay, perfect. So that's what it'll look like on top. And it is all finished. So I'm just gonna it is all finished. So you just fold it and then make sure that the yarn tails are combed out. Okay, so this is what the scrap yarn beanies look like. Let me know if you like this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.